Hi, just thought I'd stop by and share a few thoughts about the first assignment, PESTLE or macro analysis. Again, and I've said this earlier, it's really important to get that this process of developing an insight is an iterative one, like the little diagram here. You're going to go round and around and around. What you want to prove as your insight will require you to go back and generate research, data, information analysis to support it. So the first thing to get here is that you're going to be generating data and information on each of these elements if you can find stuff that's relevant. If you can't find, or if you're not thinking deeply enough, or if it's just not relevant, then don't include it. Don't put something in simply because it is, but you do need to, because it's available. You need to think deeply about it. The second thing to get here is to think of the interdependence. So you're going to look at each one separately, but don't forget to look at how they all connect together and how that impacts on the industry. Impact. What type of impact are we thinking about? Growth, profit, cash flow. So we're looking at for impacts on those three areas predominantly. We're looking at what is likely to impact the growth of the industry, what is likely to impact the profitability and certainly cash flow, but mostly profit and growth. So when you start to think about writing this report, when you get into the nuts and bolts of it, it's really important to think about the audience, senior marketer at Mokosh, reading your report. So writing long essays is not really relevant. What you want to do is find ways to visualize first and foremost, and then support it later with all of the heavy data and information. So something like this, nice, but doesn't really tell me much. It's just pretty colors. We want to look for something that is going to visualize the information better to communicate quickly and clearly what you've discovered. And I like this as a starting point, illustrative only, but you might go, what are the opportunities and threats? Here they've written the word issue. Opportunities and threats fits more within the marketing domain. What are the opportunities and threats? And what are the impacts of those on the industry? Now this is a nice visualization, but there's no numbers, there's no scaling. So we want to try and build that. A way to do that is to build a table and start to assign some numbers. So this table here is very useful because you could say, rightio, what is a political issue, conflict within politics? You know, what rating will we give it? Purely subjective at this stage. Purely subjective. We'll give it a rating of -5, likelihood of occurring 3, and we've got a score of 15. So you go through all of the things you discover and you do this, positive and negative. And you can take that then and begin to build a visualization followed by an analysis. So this is a nice visualization, and you can put a scale on this so you can make a decision as to whether 15 is a high, low or medium issue, etc. You visualize it. So this helps the audience, the reader, grasp overall what's happening. Then following that, you might then begin to do your analysis. You could do all the negative factors first, followed by positive, or you could do positive and negative. I don't really mind, and I can't tell you which to do. It will depend on your insight and the flow of logic towards that, the structure of your argument. So which you choose will depend on what you see as the best way of communicating. The key here is think about what you want to say and think about how you want to say it and think about the interconnectedness between all of the elements relative to your analysis and insight. Ultimately, as I said at the beginning, what we're looking for is overall trends in the market. That's numbers over time, and I'll talk a little of this next week. Positive, negative, volatile, stable, fast growing, slow decline, fast decline, what's happening in the industry, and what does that mean for growth and profitability. Obviously, that will have an impact on, when we go to the second assignment, the number of competitors you start to get in the market and how they're going to behave. So overall, what we're aiming to do is look at the elements of the PESTLE individually, looking for relevant information in each. If it's not there, don't add it. And we're looking at the interdependence of the elements. I hope you found that helpful. Good luck. Remember, you're not analysing Mokosh. They're your client. You're analysing the industry for them so that they can use the information in their decision making. The power of your insight in their decision making. Okay, that's enough for now. Go have a cup of tea.